Are we ready? Shall we do this? I think we shall. Greetings and salutations. It is 9 o'clock Sunday night. I had a good Saturday night. UK time. It is time for the Sunday Nighter. Yes, your weekly terrain Q&A show and massive ramble. Right, okay, so yes, I had a good night last night. I went to see Fredicus as he's recovering. Then a late night. Right, I hope the grey matter works a bit better than it just started, eh? Otherwise, this is going to be an interesting show. Now, I see people are chatting. You will notice, yeah, that we are streaming on multi-platforms. It's like multipath. Okay, yes, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Twitch, and we are live on my Facebook page, The Terrain Tutor. Okay, now, Facebook is one of these things that's a little bit funny. They won't tell us how many people are watching, so I'll have to go and look every so often. Should we see who's over on Facebook? It doesn't tell me how many people are watching. Oh, no. Someone's watching, someone said hello, but we are getting their comments. So if you are watching on Facebook, yeah, you want to join the chat, hit the comments, guys, or come over to YouTube or WatchColor or Twitch and join us there. Now, WatchColor, hope you've not hit massively by the Patreon fallout, Mel. What Patreon fallout? What's happened? Right, okay. Mel's got a panic on now. Mel's just got to nip over to his Patreon and make sure that Mel hasn't been hit massively by Patreon. Down $30 in pledges, so something's happened over the past couple of days. But that's not what we're here for, so... Right, so we have got the gang here. Now we have got coming up to about 80 people watching us on YouTube. We've got 4 of you on Twitch. Hello, my little Twitchers. Now, quick mention to my YouTube folk and my Twitch folk. The studio PC has turned up. It is in the process of being updated, i.e. it's down there, and in between doing things on this computer, I swap monitors and update it because the monitor's in the studio, as it would be. Yeah, but I'm updating that. I'm hoping to get it up and running and testing it this week in the studio. I don't want to promise a studio live stream yet until I know it's working and it's all fine and that sort of stuff. But fingers crossed, we should be on for Thursday. Now, on top of that, I'm going to be doing a lot more studio streaming. Yeah, a lot of stuff that I don't want to appear on the channel because I want the channel to be about the tutorials and the videos. The channel was never about live streaming. Okay, that was just something I did on top. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a lot of, basically when I'm working in the studio, and if I'm doing on something that I don't mind being on camera because it's not for a tutorial or, you know, something along those lines, I'm just going to be throwing Twitch on, yeah? And so if you really do like my live shows, you like my studio shows, get yourselves over to Twitch. Links are in the description. Now, this is a question and answer show, so not only are links in the description, but the link to the Google Doc for your questions is in the description. It is open, it is receiving. We've got 4 questions so far. I've got Safisha, Dan, Anton, and Norman. Yeah, so we've got questions from those guys. Links to that is in the description. You just need to go head over to Google, put your screen name in, let me know what platform you're on, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, and then enter your question, and we'll tackle that in about 10 minutes. Okay, so we are getting there. Studio streams. I love those. Everyone loves studio streams. Watching on YouTube, commenting on here because you're on the telly for me. So you're watching me on the big screen and you've got your phone with the Facebook app and you're commenting there. That's some Star Trek sort of stuff. Mel, for bolt action MDF terrain or buy from Warlord? Okay, dude. Right. You want to rephrase that question, mate, and throw it in the Google Docs? Edith is now following. Oh, we are getting subscribers. Oh, yes, if you subscribe on Twitch, it notifies us because I haven't switched that off yet. So, if you're on Twitch and you do subscribe to the channel now, yeah, your name's going to appear on screen. Now, that isn't the main thing I'm worried about. Yeah, because as I booted up the software and that sort of stuff and set up the stream this afternoon, it came up and said face masks have been enabled. And I did a quick check, and it appears that now that if you make, the zombie that runs across the screen, if you donate via via Streamlabs. If you don't know, we take donations on the stream. There's a target down in that corner, yeah, and that's basically what we're collecting for. As we sort of collect it, it's for kit for the studios, but you can make a donation via the links in the description. One of those you can either go direct via PayPal, and we'll check those in a minute. Yeah, or Rod Post, right, I'm going to have to mute these, aren't I? Otherwise, they're going to get a bit crazy. Right, how do we do that? I don't know. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I've got to figure out how to do that now. Quickly switch over to dashboard. I haven't ended this. No, I haven't ended the stream, thank God. Alerts. Alerts. Where are alerts? Not the alert box. Yes, the alert box. Right, let's just very quickly kill. Yeah, that. I hope this works. Otherwise, it may be with us for the show. Right, we'll only know in due course, won't we? Fingers crossed that sorted it, guys. I appreciate guys jumping on Twitch, but we don't want the ding dong every time it does. Right, okay. Uh-oh. No, that doesn't fix it, has it? Right, there's got to be a way, hasn't there? Oh, typical, isn't it? Right. I've got a skip alert. What's that? What have I done? Uh-oh. Recent events. Right. No. Oh, that's gonna really annoy us. Right, let's just hope that sorts it. Right, Mercenary Image, just wanted to say that you've given me and my husband an awesome hobby we can do together. Well, I haven't really given you the hobby, I've just enabled you to come into the hobby we all enjoy, but thank you. Yeah, but yes, there's face masks now, so I'm rather concerned about donations and what you lot are going to stick on this pretty mug of mine. Right, Dan's doing his awesome thing. Gary's found emoticons. Oh God, it's a time bomb. Typical of my shows. Right, just to bring you up to speed, so obviously I've been updating the studio PC. We've got the studio sessions coming. They're going to be lots of impromptu sessions on Twitch. I'm also thinking of doing something. New Year's resolutions, come on. Who has much weight in New Year's resolutions? Do they happen? Do you know what I mean? I mean, how many times have you made a New Year's resolution and, what, a couple of days in? I mean, okay, I'm going to throw this out to everyone, okay? How many people in the chat? We've got about 100 people talking across the platforms now. Yeah, how many people across these chats, yeah, have made a New Year's resolution in the past 5 years and they've stuck to it? And what was it? And it can't be rude. Patron randomly deleted accounts off-site for infractions and people are leaving. Whew. It doesn't look like it's hit me too bad whatever's happened on Patron. These things happen and I'm always late to the game because I never keep up with what's going on socially and that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? So, you know, someone will have had a falling out somewhere over something and, you know, as is typical, someone big will have left and, you know, their following will have left with them. And it happens. I don't really follow much. It only looks to have hit me about $30 this month, which is, it's not brilliant, but it could be worse. Well, I'm saying hello from the States. I made it this time for the stream on Sunday. Yippee for me. Welcome aboard. Wolf saying he doesn't make any of them. Anta said, yep, just the one. I can imagine. Gary saying I don't make them. Oh, Justin Fortes just signed up for Mel's Patreon. Bet not kick me. Fingers crossed, bud. Let me know if you have any problems. I faithfully kept the last resolution I ever made, and that was over 15 years ago. I resolved never to make another New Year's resolution. Oh, Susanna, thank you, darling. Thank you. Okay, no, better. It was to paint an army for a game. Did you keep it? Which army, Ant? I've always wanted to be on a mod on a YouTube channel with over 100k subscribers. Well, you are now, Dan. None. I agree with Mark Bishop. So true. A resolution not to live in the past was 100% successful. Well, you're obviously not a Time Lord, are you, dude? I gave up with the New Year's resolutions. Right, okay. Other than Ant and painting his army, have we got any others? Matthias is saying going to stop smoking after the new year, but not from the first. Then things just not going to happen. I've tried that before. I mean, you guys know I smoke, and I have an up and down sort of relationship with smoking. It's very related to stress and that sort of stuff in my life, and I'm getting a lot better. See, I cough at the mere mention at it. I have to force myself with the smoking thing, yeah, to sort of like, don't make it too habitual, you know, because if you have a brew, don't make it a brew and a cigarette. If I'm in the studio and I'm in a break and I finish something and I'm going to do something else and I boil the kettle, don't turn that into a fag break and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, in the new year, I'm not saying a resolution, but my health needs to come a little bit more prominent, you know, and I've had a gym membership for 5 years. It's a £5 a month. It's a real simple gym, you know what I mean? I like my gym simple. But what do you call it? But I've hardly gone. So I think, you know, I'm going to have to sort that out myself. And saying it was his K-47, Russians? That's Conflict 47, the sort of World War II sort of bolt action variant. Could you use sponge with glue sprayed on top to harden? Depends what glue you spray on it, mate. 32 years ago, I resolved to make no resolutions. I've kept that once without fail. To be honest, this year it'll probably be to get my Kill Team Cathedral nice. Built, very nice. Trying to go dairy free in the new year, nice. I've heard a lot of people do that and get benefits. I switched from smoking to vaping. Feel much better now. Still addicted to nicotine though. Mate, I always say I'm going out to abuse a couple of teens. My caffeine and my nicotine. Yeah, it gets me in trouble, that comment does. Oh, bugger, that's going to get clipped on Twitch, innit? Mel, what do you do in the gym? Mainly perspire, mate. No, generally, when I go to the gym, I like, warm up with some cardio, cool down with some cardio, and then generally, I tend to do sets of 16 reps, yeah, and I'll do 3 or 4 sets of them, and I'll alternate. I'll do full body. I don't concentrate on like upper body or lower body. I don't push, and I don't push strength development. As a little bit of background, my actual... Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
Yes. As a little bit of background, I'm actually a sports physio. Yeah, that's what I'm actually qualified to do. That's what my degree's in and all that sort of stuff. That's what I used to do. Yeah, a long time ago. So, you know, fitness and gym stuff, it's bread and butter. I know exactly what... I know exactly what muscle that exercise machine does, and I know where it's attached. I know what nerve it does. I know what its function is. I know its complementary muscles, how it sits in with the joint structures, and so a lot of my workouts, they're geared just to maintenance. So I keep it relatively high reps. I mean, if you want to build cardio and build vascular, sort of networks, you want to mack it up to about 50 reps. That really gets the capillaries growing, you know, and that'll, you know, really grow a good vascular network in a muscle structure. Yeah, but I just want maintenance. The thing is, I don't want to put on strength too quickly. See, the body has this mechanism whereby the quicker you put it on, the quicker you lose it. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so what I want to do is I want a nice, slow and steady sort of growth. So as I get, you know, if I do that over the next 10 years, then as I get into my later life and into my retirement, my muscle mass will have a slow sort of burn off, or, you know, have a slow reduction. Oh, the stuff next to me making some gravestones. Right, Bruce, no worries. Doesn't exercising make your hair fall out? Well, it certainly does. Sorry about that little what you call it, little jolly into whatever it was a jolly into. Wearing hats can make your hair fall out. I blame my crap hat. Like every good soldier. Yeah, this is the fault of Her Majesty. I blame you, Mom. I blame you. Evening, Mel. Was wondering if you're going to be making any terrain based around Star Wars Legion. Next week, actually, I am. Not specifically based around Star Wars Legion, but I've got my lava planet build that I'm cracking on with. I've also got an idea. I want to just bounce this across you before we jump into the questions. Now, very quickly, go to the questions. We've got 8 questions so far. Yeah, all YouTubers, Twitchers. You're probably going to need a link, aren't you? Yeah, I'll have to get you a link. But Twitchers, get your questions in. Okay, we've got quite a few people on Twitch at the minute. We've got 17 watching, so welcome, guys. We've had a couple more followers. Thank you for following, guys. Hope you're enjoying the stream. As I did say to my YouTubers, make sure if you like the studio stuff, you do jump over to Twitch, because you won't get notifications on YouTube for when I do the odd incidental, you know, streaming. And, you know, muscles never forget. There's muscle memory. But muscle memory isn't actually contained within the muscles. It's contained within the local nerve clusters at the spinal root. Yeah. Did you know if you get shingles or chicken pox, yeah, that can really knacker your muscle memory. And if you get shingles, yeah, in a specific nerve cluster, yeah, you can actually forget the ability of how to write and how to hold a pen and stuff like that. And then you have to completely relearn it. But no, muscle memory is held within the actual nerve structures. It's basically the idea behind muscle memory is it's to take the resources off the higher brain function. So because, you know, holding a pen is something that we know we do it plenty enough, your brain's like, I don't need to remember that. So it tells it basically reprograms the local nerve cluster in the spine, peripheral nerve cluster, peripheral nerve node. It's been a long time, guys. You're talking a long time, 20 years since I studied this stuff. Yeah. But basically, it reprograms it and it stores that information there. And then it maintains it. Okay? And if you don't sort of keep up the habit, yeah, then you will slowly lose it. But that's why when they do things like, when they train like special forces in the ranges and they make them shoot so many rounds that it almost becomes writing with a pen. Aiming actually stops to be a higher brain function and actually becomes sort of a local cluster. You know what I mean? And it's phenomenal stuff. And that was another diversion, wasn't it? I had Twitch at the same time as YouTube, but dueling Mel's was a bit much. It's the battle of the Mel's. I have noticed we get a better picture quality on Twitch, to be perfectly honest, than we do on on the old YouTube. And we get better sound quality on Twitch as well. Are you streaming on December the 24th this year as well? Last year was the best Christmas ever. We celebrate Christmas on the 24th here in Sweden. Let me have a look. Let's pull up the calendar. I wonder if I've been getting donations, and because I paused the thing, I don't know. Okay, right. When's Sunday night? Sunday night is the 23rd, so it's the eve of Christmas Eve for the Sunday nighter. TTT Sunday nighter, come for the terrain chat, stay for the anatomy lessons. It's a Monday. Ooh, the 24th. Would you... Yeah, that's a question for Kez, isn't it? That I can't make, guys. If it was a Sunday night, I'd probably make a decision, but I'm not making that decision without running it past the boss. You know what I mean? With it being the Monday night, the chances are Christmas Eve we will be here. You know, we'll be at home. It'll be a quiet evening. So, just out of interest, if I was to do a special show on Christmas Eve, okay, just so I will say an hour and a half, 9 o'clock till 10:30, because we've got to get prepared for Santa coming. Okay, would you watch it? Who would be up for that? Would you want one that show? Let me know in the comments, guys. I'm saying you learn something new every day. I try to, mate. I try to. Right, let me quickly check PayPal, because I don't know if switching off those alerts has buggered it. Yeah, I am glad that so far no one's gone through Streamlabs and I've not ended up with like a face mask thing on my head. Right, it appears that we are good. We're not missing anyone. But if you do like the stream and you would like to support it, links are down below, guys. Right, leave that there. I got a notice on my tablet. Right, okay. Sanders saying, please, it will be Father Xmas. Do it, Mel, we'll be here. To be honest, Sunday works better for me. We'll be mad busy on Monday night. Not like I'm Father Christmas or anything. I'd watch. If you dress up as Santa, then hell yes. Dumb question, I'm in. Yes to the 24th. Alright, I'll tell you what. I'm not promising. I mean, I've got the beard for it. Not the full one, but I've got the grey. Yeah. But I may be able to find a Santa hat somewhere. If not, Willow will find me one. I don't know about the Santa suit. I am really. I'll be honest with you guys. You know, Mel's not been. I'm not one of the chubby ones. You know, I've avoided the dad bod so far. That's biking to the studio. That is. I mean, I drive the car now, because it's pretty horrible weather. Yeah, but through the summer I bike. The night is young. I've got lots of offcuts of foam board. Any suggestions what to do with them? I tend to use them as like little pallets and testing pieces. There's this weird thing with foam board and offcuts where when you start... Oh, Kez? We need to talk. I would show you the pose she's got, yeah, but Kez doesn't like going on camera, so I'm not going to. But you should see that pose. I can't look at her well. No, I'm not looking you in the eye, darling. I'm not.
What?
They're asking about a Christmas Eve stream. Now that's Monday night, the 24th. I said it's Christmas Eve. Don't roll your eyes and roll your shoulders like, oh, they didn't.
Well, unless we've got Leighton here or Ivy here, which I can't see that happening. Ours are fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright then, guys. People are screaming, please say yes, Kez. Yeah, alright then. Christmas Eve, we'll do a special one. We'll do the Sunday nighter as normal. Yeah, and we'll advertise it on the Sunday nighter that we'll just do a Christmas Eve get together. We'll have mince pies and milk together. How does that sound? I would forsake my traditional Hogfather viewing for a Christmas Eve special, Mel. We'll probably do the Hogfather or something else afterwards. Listen, can anyone confirm? Are we getting a Are we getting a Doctor Who Christmas special? I have not heard anything of it. Talking about Christmas shows. Because that's a bit of a tradition in our house. Yes, people are well happy. Right. Let us look at some questions. How many questions we got? Right, I've got 9 questions so far. That's enough to get started, isn't it? Now, I have to read these and I have to read them first because sometimes I get jokey ones. Okay. Now, obviously, while I do this, if you do enjoy the stream, guys, links down below. Yeah, we are still trying to get the still camera batteries and cards. We're about halfway there, well, just under halfway there. So any donations, Gratefully received, guys. Right, Safisher on YouTube is asking how to do a rice paddy, preferably without water effects. Okay, now the interesting thing about rice paddies is, did you know that they're not actually planted in the water? Okay, the rice plant doesn't actually need the water to grow. It just can grow in water, and the water is a great way of controlling weeds and pests. So that's why rice paddies are typically rice in water. Kez taught me that. And you've been married to an ecologist, isn't it? Right, okay, stop. Hello. Come on then. You're going to do it, you always do.
Yeah.
So just do it. Let's get it done.
Hello.
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 Now, if anyone would like to make a donation of face mask her right now,
What?
that'd be great.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I've just got warned. I think they can put funny faces, like silly heads on your head. And they choose them and you've got nothing you can do about them. So a bit like if someone was to put like a big towel on your head. Like that. Yeah.
Someone please do that.
It's not going to happen, darling. You're out of luck. Right. Are you all ready for school?
Yep. I've done all my homework. I've got my uniform.
You got your school bag sorted?
Yep.
Squared away?
Yep.
You done with your roadblocksing?
What? Didn't want to.
Didn't want to, but you're done with it?
Yep.
Alright, go get your drink, darling.
Okay.
Any sign of the boy?
No.
Right, okay, right, let's get back to rice paddies. Okay, rice paddies. Now, the best way of doing rice paddies, I mean, you want the sort of the grass stalks that you see, the rice stalks. And the best way of doing that is small grass tufts. The little grass tufts, you can buy the adhesive ones or get a flop box and make your own. Bit of carpet, tackifier, you can knock out hundreds in no time. Okay, and then it's a simple matter of making a small base. I'd probably put it on 3mm PVC, bevel the edges. If you don't want the water effects, then I would paint the base with a very, very dark brown. Very dark brown. Almost not far off black, to be perfectly honest. And then just go over it with, with gloss varnish. Or perhaps Mod Podge. I'd probably go with gloss varnish over Mod Podge. The reason being is Mod Podge is a PVA, so it will shrink and it will warp, and it could warp your base as it dries. If you go with a gloss varnish, that will give you the wet effect of a water effects without having to use water effects. But for the actual grass, just use those self-adhesive tufts, mate. Yeah, you're probably going to need quite a few, so I probably wouldn't go for like the mainstream commercial ones. Jump yourself on eBay and find someone who's doing like A4 sheets of of tufts, and buy those instead. A nice light green. Grass is a very light green. Okay, sorry, the rice is a very light green. I looked it up for the Burma build. So, that's how I do rice paddies, mate. Hope it helps you, Safisher. Right. Right, I need to monitor the comments at the same time, don't I? How can I do this a bit more effectively? Did it? Alright, if I drag that over to there, I do that. I can do that. Doctor Who is New Year's Day this year? Why is Willow wearing a headdress like the mother of Jesus? It's more a case of drying her hair. Willow hasn't had a haircut in, donkey's ages. Bruce is saying he's supported on Patreon. Thanks for the... keep up the good work. Thank you, Bruce.
I've never actually had a haircut. All I've had is trims.
You've only ever had trims, haven't you?
And yeah, the only time that someone actually proper cut my hair is when Corbin cut all my fringe off.
I remember that, when Corbin gave you a haircut. Right.
Can someone put me on funny faces?
No.
Wait, is it actually possible to do that?
It is, but I can't make them do it, darling. I'll let you play with Character Animator, in the week. And you can do funny faces with that. Alright?
I'm going to make you into a gorilla.
Really? Thank you. Love you, darling.
Can you shut the door?
Yeah, of course I can. Right, that's just the boy to go now. It's the mother of dragons. Ah. My wife's family don't deliberately put water in their paddy fields. They just get it from the rainy season. I've watched them harvest, backbreaking. I can imagine, to be truthful. I can imagine. And it makes sense. You wouldn't fill her. You'd just build it in such a place. Because, I mean, typically, you know, where you go to Asians, they do have the rainy seasons. You know? Love her shirt. Very festive. Thank you, Dan. More Doug Adams. Right. So, let's get back to these questions, shall we? Right, there's my question 4. So, next question. This is 2 of 10. Okay, Dan's asking on YouTube, any ideas for frozen water on a small miniature base? Frozen water, frosted effects. You see, what do you call it? I'd go with, what do you call it, gloss Mod Podge and a bit of, what do you call it, crushed glass. I have to be careful how I say that. Crushed glass, okay? I did it on High Peak Pass when we did the icy roads. But the trick with it is, mix it up into like a thin paste. Okay, so get your gloss Mod Podge, add a little bit of, what you call it, add a little bit of crushed glass into it. Yeah, put it down onto your model. Then as it's settling, yeah, what you need to do is just get a brush with a little bit of water on and just layer it over the top and smooth the top off. You see, if you don't do that, what you get is you get a very, very matte effect. And it's very, well, it's textured. But if you can put a drop of water onto your Mod Podge just as it's settling down, then it sort of makes a smoother surface and you get this far better frozen ice effect. Now that's the best way I can suggest of doing it on miniature bases. You know what I mean? Any other ways? How would you do it? You can do the old, what you call it, super glue and water trick. Okay, where you mix super glue and water, and that'll give you a good, what you call it, a good sort of frosty ice, but it's not smooth. It'll get very textured. Same with the old, what you call it, dropping bicarb into super glue. That'll get you a very old, crunchy, you know, hard looking sort of downtrodden ice. Same old, hard clear plastic hit with a hammer and a nail will shatter. Could make good small patches of ice. Yeah, definitely what you call it, definitely plastic hit. But on miniature bases, trying to integrate that plastic, because the sort of plastic Bill's talking about, it tends to be quite thick. The chances are it will be thicker than the actual miniature base. Okay, so that's why I wasn't thinking along the lines of going for the plastic. If you're doing something like frozen rivers, lakes, that sort of stuff, shattered perspex is the way to go. The high peak pass techniques work perfectly for small bases. They do. But if you want that clear, smooth, yeah, you got to add a bit of water to it. That's something I didn't do on high peak pass. For a frozen lake effect, try to push mould off the base and make a clear resin cast of the base. Then sprinkle crushed glass in when it's dry. That's pretty hardcore, but yeah, make a mould of the base and actually make a clear resin piece in to drop into it. I mean, to be truthful, if you go into that effect, you might as well just do a resin pour. That one board you showed at the gaming con used broken slate as the ice chunks. It did. How about the banks of the paddy? Could you do a let's make? Could I do a let's make? I probably could do a let's make. Let me have a think. Let's make rice paddies. So that's a relatively simple one. Will you be doing any vehicle tutorials soon? Nah. Not a one. It's not my thing, mate. No, I was thinking plastic from old storage bin boxes. Like you keep fishing lures in. Ah, you're talking about the really thin plastic, the toughened ones. Bit like these. Bit like this stuff. Shatter that. Yeah. I see where you're going with that, Bill. See, I rarely think in terrain and effects in miniature-based style. You see, if I was doing a lake, you know, I would have like a 5mm perspex sheet, and I would go to town on it. I'd cut it into the, you know what I mean? And anyway, enough of that. I'm off. The dad pad. For painting scenery 40k, are there base paints that are cheaper than Citadel but are similar quality? Yeah, house paints, mate. There's a good video in the Back to Basics playlist talking about acrylic paints and the difference between craft, house and model paints. Well worth a look. But for terrain, house paints are perfectly fine. Crushed glass by Ashland for floral arrangements and centerpieces. This is what I use. Yeah, I can see that working well. So yeah, we've got quite a few ideas there. So we've got the perspex, we've got a mixture of glues, whether it's Mod Podge or whether it's super glue. Crushed glass is coming up a lot. I didn't know about the floral arrangements. Yeah, so I am just going to do a very quick Google search just to get us an idea of the cost, because crushed glass as a diorama material, it's quite expensive, and that's where I normally get it from, so I use it quite selectively. I'll have to have a dig and have a nose for that one. Not coming up with anything yet. Crushed. Ah, right, no. Helps if you say crushed glass, not grass. That's terrain for you, innit? 12 quid for a kilo. Oh, I am on that. Yeah. Nice recommendation, mate. Thank you very much. Okay, I've used clear plastic from blister packs to make frozen puddles. Yeah, that'll work. Cut to size, whitewash for the frozen effect. Very nice. May use a drop or two to water from a water cup for dirty patches. Works perfect. Have you considered architectural models tutorials? Because junior architectural students really struggle with that. It's not my field, to be perfectly honest. The techniques I know. Putting them in application and the right terminology, I don't. I know wargaming. It's why I don't do railway modelling tutorials. Yes, I'm damn sure I could probably do a beautiful railroad model. Yeah, but I don't even know the scales properly, and I don't know all the terminology, so I don't present tutorials in a field that I don't really know. You know what I mean? I don't push myself into other fields. I know wargaming. I love wargaming. Now, if you can use the stuff that I use for wargaming, then fill your boots, guys. But, you know, that's my passion. Decorative sand. Yeah, okay. Pagan Shredhead. 1 or 2 euros from the dollar store. 1 or 2 euros from the dollar store. What would be scale for Ewoks to 28mm Legion figures? I thought Legion were 32mm, and I've got no idea what scale an Ewok would be. Ah, Painted Troll saying, in an old white dwarf, GW even suggested taking your pot of paint to a DIY shop to get them mix a similar colour for terrain. Now you can take it to your local GW and they'll sell you a litre, yeah, for £300 of terrain paint. Crushed glass is less expensive than micro balloons. Yeah. But microspheres are really cool for casting. Talk about lightweight. Your crop from carpet demo is perfect for model railroads. Using it for end scale farmland. Nice. I know the stuff that I do translates over to all sorts of different hobbies. I think that's one of the wonderful thing about this whole thing that we've got here. Okay, is that it does translate across, you know, and we get such an interesting mix. We get dollhouse people, you know, we get architectural students, we get all sorts, yeah, but everyone's got a love of making, which is what I like. And then slowly I try and convince you that you want to come over to wargaming and play games with the stuff that you make and destroy your loved ones. Just wanted to say thank you for your tips and tricks on your videos, really helpful and enjoyable to watch. No worries, Ian, no worries at all. On Wizards of the Coast Star Wars minis, they had Ewoks at 28mm and I still have some in the loft. Right. You've got certain, in which case got to do a vid on old White Dwarf, say 100 to 150. Ooh, old White Dwarf. My first White Dwarf was 124 and it had the Battle of Eagle Pass in it, which was the first ever battle report. It also had, if I remember correctly, it was also the first time the Eldar were properly fleshed out. Right. We better get cracked on. So anyway, that was Frozen Water. I think we've nailed Frozen Water there. Plenty of ideas for you. Whether you're going for the perspex or you're going for the glue and the glass. Yeah, you'll get great results either way, to be perfectly honest, mate. Oh, Anton. Controversial one here. I may need a brew for this. Pagan Shredhead is saying, by the way, do we have to worry about Kat not showing up for 2 weeks now? I know she's on her travels, and also I also know that this is her busiest time of year. Yeah, because she makes her Christmas dioramas and stuff like that. But I will drop her a line. You know, I was surprised not to see her this time. I did see a Facebook post from her about a couple of days ago. Yeah, so I'm assuming she's, you know, the California fires haven't got her. Right, okay. Ant's question. Yeah, Ant from YouTube. Yeah. 3D printing. Will this have a detrimental effect on terrain builders, or is it simply a tool that can be used alongside traditional techniques? Oh, and brown sauce on bacon for the win. Right. 3D printing. Is it detrimental to the hobby? No, it isn't. Okay, first off, let's break it down what I mean by that. Right. When it comes to 3D printing, when it comes to terrain making, there's two types of 3D printing. You're either buying files, yeah, or getting files and printing something, or you're designing it yourself. Yeah. In the case of buying and using somebody else's files and not designing things or making alterations, that sort of stuff, all you're doing is buying terrain. You've just shifted the point of manufacturer. Okay, i.e., before, the person you bought it off, yeah, used to buy the filament, the printer, design the files, print it, and you would just, I want one of them, and they'd send you one. Now, you have the printer, you have the filament, you buy the files, pretty typically, and then what you call it? You print it yourself. Okay, it's just a shift of point. So, 3D printing in that sense, although you're making these things at home, it's just exactly the same manufacture process, well, same manufactured terrain that's always existed. Yeah, okay, admittedly in the past it was resin cast, and now, because that's quicker and cheaper to do as a manufacturing process, now it's 3D printed at home. So I don't see that as what you call it really changing the game. Yes, you could turn around and say, well, there's because it's digital files, there's a hell of a lot more designs and availability. Yes, but we're living in a time when, it's a golden time for terrain. So I can see that going parallels. Where you're designing it yourself, okay, we could get to a stage where everyone designs their terrain, digitally, and no one wants to build it out of foam and polystyrene anymore. But to be perfectly honest, by the time we get to that point, we're going to be playing on augmented or virtual reality, boards anyway. We're not going to have physical terrain. We'll have, it'll be projected in front of us and we'll command our armies that way, because technology will move on in society to that level by the time pretty much everyone has acquired the skill. Yeah. Now, there are a few people now who can use it to do terrain, and all the best to them. Above all, why I think that 3D printing is more of a tool for terrain builders than a replacement for terrain building, is that terrain building is a hobby in itself. Now, I'll make a point here. I got contacted by a senior graphical designer, for a very, very well-known, company that, does gaming. Right up in the end. And he was just dropping me a line to just tell me how much he loved my tutorials, because he was explaining that he spends all day designing similar things, these fantasy settings and all this, in 3D. And what he does to disconnect from that is he actually tries to build things out of polystyrene and foam board and that sort of stuff. And that's the thing. You see, 3D design doesn't have doesn't have the emotive, and the psychological rewards we get from crafting, from physically building something with our hands. There's a whole psychology to it. It's mega therapeutic and mega good for you. And that's why, there's the old saying, I came here to make the terrain and I stayed for the building. You know what I mean? I came for the game and stayed for the building. Because people discover this as a hobby in its own right. You know what I mean? And so you get this situation where, you may be able to 3D print absolutely everything that I can build with my hands. But that doesn't discount my hobby. It doesn't suddenly make my hobby redundant. At the end of the day, we've got motorbikes, we've got cars, we've got those bloody two-wheeled Zoomer things that you go round on. I'm seeing hoverboards now, proper hoverboards with propellers. We've got planes, hang gliders. But people still go hill walking. Just because technology moves on, it doesn't discount what we did before. Right, I'm going to jump in the comments because that was a good chat. I went to industrial design school. 3D models do not translate to the real world as one imagines without a lot of experience. There's no replacement for a physical prototype. Very much agree. Also, one of the things that makes real world and proper, I'll call it proper modelling, but real world modelling, we'll call it proper modelling for me, is that it's imperfect, and that works. A lot of the problems with 3D modelling is trying to get rid of that perfectness of it. You know what I mean? I hear that's a big struggle, and like some of the software comes with tools specifically to do that. Even though I have a 3D printer, I print my buildings, but actual physical terrain still needs to be done with standard flock and such. True, you can print your terrain, you've still got to base it and flock it. And at the same time, it's still, right, I want a hill this big, this wide. You know what I mean? Train building ain't going anywhere. 3D computer stuff can never take the place of tactile and visceral experience of actual making. Very true. I just told my brother I don't paint my 15mm to game. I play them for relaxing therapy. Gaming is secondary. I remember seeing something, the Wargaming survey. that is it. Wargaming Soldiers and Strat. One of the Wargaming mags does an annual survey, and I remember seeing Beasts of War go through the actual stats for it this one time, and they went through the stats, and it was scary. Okay, because it was like, the vast majority of hobbyists may only play like a couple of times a year. Yeah, but they're engaged with the hobby pretty much every night. And it is pretty much, you come for the hobby, not the game so much. Actually, I mean, you know what it's like trying to organise something as adults. Are you free on the... No, I'm not free on the... I use some resin 3D printer. They're very good, but very expensive, both resin and printer itself. Yeah, there is the cost, but, you know, I think over time we're going to see... See, the thing with 3D printing, yeah, is the cost and the quality of the device will only get better for consumers if it's used by consumers. And outside certain hobbies, I don't really see a use for 3D printing in the home. I mean, if you weren't a war gamer and you didn't do terrain and that sort of stuff, what would you use a 3D printer for? Do you know what I mean? You have to apply. If you notice me jerking, I've got the hiccups, guys. I'm trying to get rid of them. But yeah, you see what I mean. For people like us who do model making, a 3D printer is like, oh, why should a 3D printer? I can print things. But if you didn't do you know, what you... I mean, this could be ignorance of other hobbies and other things, but when I try and look at my life outside of the hobby and terrain making, I don't see what I'd use a 3D printer for. I mean, would I really print a bowl or a cup? Not really. I mean, with how long it takes to print, it'd be easier to nip down Tesco and buy one for £1. They're better than how we did it back in the old days, which was just draw a couple of interiors in 3 points and toss some furniture and the odd figures. I see some Warhammer Fantasy Battle vid game and I see yes, like I have that mini, but that's how it works. Yeah. Also, 3D printing in plastic is fairly low cost, but SLA resin terrain is going to be very expensive. Yeah. Can someone tell me what SLA is? Yeah. Joanne's saying start playing minis to relax. Guys, it's well known. I got back into the hobby heavy and with terrain because of the old noggin. Yeah, and what you call it? I got back into the hobby years ago when Corbin was born because you know, stress at work. So yeah, I saved 300 on a new screen shower screen by 3D printing a new hinge. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I got my 3D printer for 300 to print 6, 10, 15mm vehicles. After 2 years, the money I saved from not buying metal vehicles has paid for the printer. Yeah, totally agree, but that's because you're a model maker. Yeah, and I'm curious about non-model things, you know what I mean? Now, quick, oh my god, we've got some serious viewers. Right now it's telling me I've got 140 viewers across all the platforms. Hello, folksicles. Happy Sunday. Kaz? Yeah? Is Kettle on? Twenty Glenn saying, Mel, love the demonic altar video. Great. Nice one, buddy. Thank you. I work with a lot of laser cut MDF stuff, but there's still a lot of modifying it, basing, painting. So those skills will remain even with 3D printing. I genuinely think, yeah, that, what you call it? I genuinely think that it will be a tool for terrain makers. There will be some that utilise it a lot more than others, in all honesty. But it's still going to be a tool for terrain makers. Yeah, there'll be some people who never touch it. At some point, I'm going to have to get into it. But I'm going to need a decent printer and I'm going to have to learn how to 3D design, because if I get into it, I want to be able to modify and all that sort of stuff, and it's a big learning curve. So we're probably going to have to do a series on that. You know what I mean? Would you like a series on that? I'm not. It's not coming for 6 months at least. Yeah, I've got other things to think about before we jump into that sort of stuff. Yeah, actually on series. Yeah, I'm starting to come up with this idea of doing mini-series. I quite like the way that High Peak Pass worked. It just annoyed me it was over such a long period of time. So I'm thinking of doing like 2-week mini-series. Yeah, with the first one coming up being small scale coastal stuff, which I'm filming next week. Yeah, what are your feelings on that, folks? You interested in like themed sort of content for a week or two? I mean, I figure it'd be like what, 4 videos? 4 or 5 videos. I use a SLA 3 type of printing that prints a layer with UV light with a UV reactive resin. Very fine details. Ah, so that's SLA. Thank you, babe.
What now?
Have a muffin.
There's only 3 left, and they are supposed to be for Willow for school.
I know, but I'll go to the shop tomorrow and buy some more. But they're the only cakes we have. Oh, that's better.
There's mini rolls.
They're not a muffin. I love muffins.
I know you do.
Love you.
Love you too.
Don't.
What?
Cheeky. My neighbour has a 3D printer and prints loads of custom unique pieces for his children's Lego collection. Yeah, I can see that. I think I've got all the programs for that, like apps. I've already got the Adobe suite, so I think I've got what I need. I'm not even sure what I need, to be truthful. Mercenary Images saying theme weeks sound interesting. I like the idea, to be perfectly honest. I'm happy about all content, so go for it. Yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. Yes, then you can do 10mm Adapters Titanicus terrain. Trust them to do 10mm. I'm not going to do 6, not going to do 50. No, we'll do 10mm. Yeah, sure, throw another scale in there, guys. Thanks for that. The series called The Chat Teaches Mel How to 3D Print for Beginners. I'd be up for that. I would be up for that, because, I mean, you've got to understand, going into 3D printing, it would be a whole new world for me, because I'm not up to speed on any of it. I mean, you'd have to teach me how to design, and then we'd have to find which sort of printer and that sort of stuff. Theme content is a great idea. It's nice to follow a project from start to finish. Yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of these themed weeks. Yeah, and I'm going to try and do it more. Another one was we've got the medieval stuff and Iron Age and all that sort of stuff. I was thinking, like, let's do a farmstead, and we could do it in like 3 or 4 videos. And, you know, when we've done it, you'll have an Iron Age farmstead, or, you know, a medieval farmstead, or do you see where I'm going with? Gotta go. We have 14 inches of snow in North Carolina, and the power is flashing on and off. That'll be the White Walkers. Oh! Right, bring me to no, I've lost it. I've lost my comments. Right, we're going to have to get back to the questions soon. We've only done 2 of what? 3 of 11? The terrainiacs guide too. I'll be watching with great interest. Nearly had mine for a year and still learning loads. I think a Teach the Tutor one would be quite good on that, actually. Resin 3D printer almost the same and better quality than commercial plastic model, but cost and durability is not. I think this is going to have to be one of those, we're going to have to suck it and see, guys, you know what I mean? Right. Moving on with our questions. Norman's asking, Mel, I'm a railroad modeller who likes to think and work outside the box. Me too, bud. Do you think the modular ideas for wargame dioramas can transfer over to model railroad dioramas? I suppose they could. I suppose what you could do is what we do you see, I'm not sure about joining the tracks together with regards to modularity. I'm not sure about lengths of tracks, how you could standardize that. But theoretically, you could make a modular piece. You just have to standardize the template at the sides and integrate the track connecting in with that. That could certainly, certainly work as a start. What I'd probably go for is a mixed combination, something what we call sort of like a mixed board. What you do is you make like a fully featured board, you know, with all the big mountains and the river, but you leave areas that are predefined for scatter terrain that you can blend in. Yeah, so you could say, right, I've got a full, you've got a few features, but we could drop a...
Can you just shout up to the boy and just tell him it's bedtime?
Yes, certainly. Hold your ears, I've got to let the boy know it's bedtime. Oh, my God. Corbin! Bedtime now, dude. Love you. Poor lad's knackered. He's been away on Christmas camp. Yeah. He's been away on Christmas camp with the cadets, Corbaz, this weekend, and he came back absolutely knackered, and he came back grumpy as hell. Yeah. Someone in the middle of the night threw up next to his bed and did one. Yeah, so he wasn't happy about that. Yeah. On top of that, a couple of the junior NCOs got caught smoking outside the block, so the entire company got a beasting and telling off for that. Yeah, and then he was telling me about the Army Cadets Christmas disco. He says, we're in the room. He says, there were no decorations. He says, there was no disco lights. I'm like, all right, okay. And he says, there wasn't even any music. I'm like, that's the disco party. He says, me and a couple of mates just went back to the billet and we had celebrations. Poor lad. Oh, itch. Yeah, so he's in a bit of a grump, but he's knackered. Anyway, going back to the, dioramas. So this idea that we have this fully featured board, but with areas that are level and smooth, that you can drop pieces in, then just dress the board with a bit of loose scatter. I can see that working for railroad modelling. I don't know what you'd use it for. Do you know what I mean? You see, we do it so that you can have really big battle boards, but you can change the terrain, because in us, in wargaming, terrain affects the game. So depending on what's there, you could put a fortification there, you could put a hill there, you know what I mean? Or you can leave it as open terrain, you could put wood there, and they all have variables. You need to turn your TV off, Mel. I do, actually. Not only does that turn the TV off, it also turns the kids' Wi-Fi off. Yeah, but anyway, going back, we have terrain, and we change the terrain, and we need it modular because it affects our games and it adds variation. You have big feature boards that are static, are great to play on once or twice, but they get boring very quickly for regular play, which is why we like modularity in our gaming terrain. It's just a shame that the more modular terrain is, generally the less, realistic you can make it looking. There is a standard for modular railroad pieces. I'm not sure of the sizes, but there is a standard for it. I could look it up if needed. Nice one. So there is a standard out there. Quality disco. That's a Spartan type of party, isn't it just? I mean, there were no decorations. All right then. There were no lights. All right then. There was no music. It's like, and that's the Christmas disco. We just sat in a room talking. So we went back to... Poor lad. On top of that, apparently, whoever was cooking at camp this year did... The Christmas dinner was right shocking, apparently. N-Scale has a specification for modular layout that defines where tracks have to meet the edges. What happens inside the module is wide open. Right. So, that's very similar to wargaming. Basically, there's a specification, or the sides are templated or standardized. What happens in between those sides? It can go wherever it wants. But as long as where the pieces meet, it's standardised. In Watcher, in N scale, or in Wargaming, modularisation will work. No decorations, no music, no lights, no girls. Oh no, what do you call it? There's tons of girls at the Army Cadets. I think Corbyn's detachment's one of the biggest detachments in the area. I think they've got about 40 cadets. And I think at least about 25 of them are girls. Drawing Blackstone Fortress theme kill team board here. Nice to work on terrain again for the longest time. Nice one, Odin. Right, okay, why has... I think I may have messed up. Oh, there's Odin's. Thank you, buddy. First donation of the stream. And I dodged the face mask. Christmas this week? More reindeer? Oh, dropping something in the mail for you for Christmas this week. More reindeer? He sent, what do you call it, a couple of Christmases ago. Yeah, Odin. He's over in Nordic countries, you know, and that sort of stuff there, North European. Can't remember there exactly. Apologies, mate. Yeah, but he sent over these, what do you call it, these meat treats. You know, like pepperoni slices, like salami slices, but little ones. We gave them Corbyn and Willow. Yeah, try these. Yeah, and they tried them. And they were like, what are they? And we went, it's Rudolph. Reindeer. They were not impressed. I'm a bad man. Right. I'm going to... I don't really want to stuff my face on camera, you know what I mean? Just give me 2 seconds. No, well, back now. Right, yeah, so with regards to modularity, as long as the sides are standardised, you're fine. Sounds like N scale is the way to go, mate. Yeah, but like I say, I don't know about that. Right. People are chatting on Facebook. It's just not getting across for some reason. I don't want to imagine the cost of a 3D printer big enough to do the D-Day board. Yeah, I can imagine that. Is there a standard for modular railroad pieces? Ah, so the comments must be coming up. They're just coming up as... On my screen, they're all coming up as, what you call it, as YouTube. But that questions are, what you call it... So I'm not missing them. That's alright then. Right, onwards with the questions. Right, we've got about 20 minutes left. I've got 8 questions to do. So I'm going to lock off the questions now. Reindeer was really nice on Norway. My brother is sending some deer meat. That's classic, Mal. Right. Question 5 of 12. Aaron on YouTube is asking, I'm looking to make... Oh, thank you. What was that? Oh, Dan Random. Sorry. Oh, God. Really? So, how long does this thing stay on my head then? Because there's nothing I can do to stop it. Hey, folks! Oh. Oh, I'm saved. Dodge that one. I don't know if it's time related, depending on what you donate and that sort of stuff. Dodge that bullet, Dan. Right. I'm looking to make Gothic buildings from styrofoam or possibly MDF. How would I go stylised and cutting out the windows and doors? Right, if you're doing MDF, then you're going to really need to go laser cutting. Otherwise, the cutting process just knackers the edges, to be perfectly honest. Styrofoam's the better option. Yeah, high density 10mm sheets work really well. Best way for cutting out the doors and windows is actually to use a sharp blade, but use a template. Now, Gerard over at shiftingsands.com, he does a lovely range of doors and window templates. They're laser cut MDF, but basically you just slap them on your piece and you can draw exactly. It's got all the right Gothic arches, that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that's how I would tackle that, mate. I go with styrofoam or polystyrene. Go with the high density extruded XPS stuff. Get yourself, either make yourself some templates out of a good durable cardboard or plastic card, or like I say, Gerard at shiftingsands.com, he does some and they're nice. Yeah, and that's how I tackle those particular details. Right, moving on. Comments. Get the venison. Alright, they're coming up with smart glasses that allow you to see terrain on bare tabletop. Yeah, augmented reality. That's quite a makeover. I know. I'm quite concerned because some of them are brilliant. You know, some of them are going to make me look like a right muppet. Reindeer jerky is what I sent. Oh, dude. Living in Finnish Lapland from the Arctic Circle, so it's all around here. Okay, right. Joanne's asking, Mel, I've been planning to do a fantasy dwarven, fantasy tavern diorama for a while, featuring a screen with some bards performing, a drunk dwarf in the corner, etc. But every tavern needs a big fireplace. So my question is, what's the best method to do a fireplace? I've been thinking of using some XPS foam and draw the stonework, or build it brick by brick. What do you think? I think, to be perfectly honest, yeah, you can draw the stonework and that sort of stuff. But if you, I'd be really tempted to do it brick by brick, mate. Because I mean, the amount of brickwork involved in doing like a hearth, yeah, with a nice big beam over it. I don't think it'd be that much. But I think if you're doing a diorama, I think what you'd get out of the quality of looking at it, yeah, for that little extra work. I mean, when people say brick by brick and it's a full building, you know, oh, that's going to take some time. Yeah, I mean, the payoff's worth it, but it'll take some time. So, for the hearth, I'd do it brick by brick. You can draw it on, that'd be perfectly fine. I'd also... Go lie down, mate. Go on. I'd also, I'd also probably look at like flickering LED candles to get some nice flickering fire effects in it. But that's how I'd tackle that one, dude. The comments are all about reindeer jerky right now. Thank you, Dan. Right. How are we doing on Twitch? Have we had many more? We've had a couple more followers. Thank you, guys. Remember, guys, if you are on YouTube, do jump down below in the description and hit the Twitch link. And if you like the studio shows, sign up there because that's where they're going to be going on. Yeah, and there's a good chance sometime in the future, possibly 6-12 months down the line, I'm probably going to move the Sunday Nighter over to Twitch because once you reach a certain level at Twitch, you become partnered and you can actually earn money on Twitch. And the thing is, when you become partnered, you're not allowed to stream to multiple platforms at the same time. So I don't know if I'm going to go down that route. I really don't. It's a big question for the future. Right now, I'm not making any money on Twitch other than the donations I get in the live streams, that sort of stuff. So, yeah. I don't think the stream target is updating. It is updating. It's definitely gone up. But anyway, as I said, I don't know about that in the future and how that's going to go. But if you do like the studio streams at least, I'd jump over to Twitch and make sure, you follow the stream, you know what I mean? Because you'll see him on there, you won't see him on YouTube. Yeah, for Tavern series, check out Witchlock on YouTube. There's a whole host of them. There's Black Magic Craft, DMG. He does good stuff. DMG, Hot Glue Boy. And there's a whole load of them for the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. You know, the cardboard crafters. Right. How are we doing on questions? 6 of 12. Let's move on. Tom on YouTube is asking, just been to see Spider-Man. Enter the Spider-Verse. Loved it. The film had a lot of colourful anime and borderline psychedelic influences. My question is, do you think of any game system armies that would fit this aesthetic terms and terrain? To Zench. Everyone's following again. We've got the alerts again. If I switch, I'm going to have to switch those sort of subscription alerts off. Yeah, after the show, and make sure the setting's definitely off, because I can't have alerts about people making donations on without leaving that on. We've only got 15 minutes. We'll roll with it. It's only occasionally, as I encourage everyone to head over to Twitch and join the channel. Right. For the psychedelic and the colourful, the only one I can really think of, yeah, perhaps Carnival. I don't really know the system that well. But with regards to Fantasy 40k to Zench, yeah, psychedelic and colourful, right up to Zench's street. It'd be really good, actually. Guys in the comments, can you make any suggestions? What would you say? Can you get access to the YouTube subscription button function? I don't know. Silver Kestrel Studios. Hi Mel, just wanted to pop in and say love your work. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Harlequins, yeah, psychedelic would work for Harlequins. Any others, guys? Batman Miniatures game by Knights Models. See, I wouldn't have said that was unless you could probably say like a Joker themed, sort of scenario terrain set. But I mean, when I think of Batman, I think of very dark and gritty and grimy. You know what I mean? I played Carnival. It's a great game. Lots of fun and very colourful. Stuff from Weird. Yeah, Stuff from Weird. I imagine so, yeah. So yeah, there's a few systems for the psychedelic stuff, mate, by the looks of it. And the colourful stuff. Yeah, you could go with Batman the Miniatures game and go for a Joker themed table. That could be quite fun, actually. Carnival is I'm not sure if Carnival is psychedelic, but it's definitely colourful. Yeah, obviously you've got Zench, you've got Harlequins. So yeah, there's definitely plenty of options there for you. Right, okay. More questions. I hope that answers your question, by the way, Tom. If you do like the show, guys, remember, links to the donations down below. We will get our batteries and cards soon. Right, Grimlock Steve, YouTube. I recently made some terrain bits for gaming for expanding foam, and it looks like I'll need to base it to stop paint scraping off the bottom. What would you recommend to get? I'm thinking polystyrene sheet like the ones that use for sale signs. Also, is polyfiller durable enough, or is there something else I can use? No, you'll be fine, mate. To base it, depending on the hill size. If they're quite large hills, I'd go with MDF, but you should be able to go with a polystyrene sheet. Just make sure the base doesn't stick too far out beyond the edge. Personally, I'd probably base with EPVC, expanded PVC foam board, something like Palite or Foamex. Polyfiller will definitely be durable enough to blend the gaps. If you want an example of that, go and have a look at my expanded foam hills tutorial. Yeah, just stick expanded foam hill tutorial terrain tutor into the old searchy and you'll find it. And that's pretty much what you're asking to do, is what's in that video, mate. So that should hopefully answer your question. I need more windows. I definitely need more windows, and I need bigger screens. I've started to get a neck problem when I'm video editing. I've got quite small screens, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and when I'm video editing, I have to sit like this, and I've noticed that all my neck muscles at the back of here have started to really bunch up, and I'm starting to struggle to put my chin on my chest. I mean, that's really tight. And so I think it's time to watch. I mean, I've had eye tests. My eyesight's actually fine. Yeah, it's just Premiere and those sort of programs, they're designed to be used on much bigger screens. And so I think I'm going to have to get a couple of bigger screens soon as well. Someone just recently posted a very psychedelic board on one of the 40k groups, warp themed. Oh, Shambles, nice one. Thank you, buddy. That sounds really, what you call it? Psychedelic board. Odin, if you can, tag me in that or send me the link, dude. But yeah, with regards to the expanded phone one, check out my tutorial. Yeah, I think it's in the it's in the Hills playlist. All hippie rainbow tie-dyed like. Oh, that would be nice. You could use your TV for that, Mel. I'm thinking about it. I like dual monitors. I mean, I've got 2 monitors because it works really well with the chat because I need so many windows open. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to upgrade to 3. But as far as I'm aware, don't the monitors need to be the same size for using dual monitors and stuff like that? Will I need 2 TVs the same size? Right. Questions. Moving on. Question 9. Kim's asking, what type of glue is Yoo-hoo glue that you have in the UK? It's fantastic for making gore and guts. It's an epoxy latex, isn't it? I very rarely, I haven't used it for years. Because it's messy, you know what I mean, as a glue. What type of glue is Yoo-hoo? It's an all-purpose adhesive, fast clear for universal paper. It's adhesive ones around it. I don't know what it's made of. Can't answer that one. Don't know. You'll have to Google search it, mate. I use 27-inch iMac with 240 LCD screens for video editing. Oh, mate, I think these are 19-inch screens. That's very different muscles and giving the ones you strain and rest. Suggest staying your seats in a monitor height often. Yeah, that makes sense. Move a bit closer as well. Buddy, I use 17 and a 20. Oh, so I could get a big screen, slap it in the middle, and then have the 2 smaller ones. They don't have to be the same size, but it can be awkward moving from one screen to the other as there's a weird virtual barrier. Yeah, your pointer would go off at one point on one and come in, scale down on the other, wouldn't it? You've got a colour calibrated monitor, unbelievable image. Oh man, I can't afford stuff like that. A Yoo-hoo is a clear synthetic resin adhesive. Right. So it's an epoxy resin. Target pins following. Welcome, bud. You know what they always say, Mel? Life is like a roll of paper. You're either on a roll or you're dealing with the... Yeah, that's true, mate. 40-inch HD TVs are cheap, which is a bonus. I've been looking at a couple. I think I was looking at 23-inch. And I think they were about 120 quid was the cheapest I could find. If anyone's got any really good deals on big HD TVs, I'd really appreciate knowing, guys. Right, questions. 10. Bill? Any tips for wanting to weather up? Any tips for someone wanting to weather up their 10mm armoured fighting vehicles for World War II? Where do I start? What products do I want and what should I avoid? I'm on a very short budget. To be truthful, you want some pigments at best. Model pigments, and then you can seal them in spray with a matte varnish or a hairspray. Yeah, that's the cheapest way of weathering it up. You can get something called Model Mates, which works really well. But to be perfectly honest, once again, I'll say this again. I've never painted a 10mm model. Well, I painted poorly some Adaptus Mechanicus, some Land Raiders from Space Marine, which is 6mm, when I was 15. But it's been a long time and I didn't weather them. I don't think I even dry brushed it. There was just like red and a bit of black and silver on the tracks and the guns. So with these sort of questions, I'm not the guy to ask on these. You need to get over to one of the diorama guys, one of the modelling guys, and go for those. No, it was fairly cheap, just like $30 or more for the lowest level of colour calibration. It's like the prosumer. What? $30 for a 40-inch monitor? $32-inch. Listen, if someone's got links to these cheap TVs, I'd really like to see them. If people are getting TVs for $30 that are 40 inches, I want to know about it. In the UK. Because that would be great. Because I won't have to sit like this then. I can sit back like this. In fact, I can imagine I'll probably sit like that. Ah, thanks. But we don't get Yoo-hoo in Norway, so now I can look for a replacement. Ah, okay. I'm glad it helped, Duck. He said $30 more, like more than a normal one. That's okay, I don't mind paying like 20 quid more for colour calibration. Because that would be great. I could, you know, I actually know what my videos look like. How bad does that sound, eh? Right, moving on. 11 of 12. Hello, my lover.
Hello, baby.
Red Green, what do you use for putting lights in stuff? Generally, LED kits. You buy them from the now defunct Macro. Not Macro. What was it? What was the place in Stoke? The technology shop that's just gone bust.
Not PC World. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Maplins.
Maplins in the UK, which recently went bust, but they used to sell like little LED kits and stuff like that. Your LEDs are probably the best way of putting lights into terrain. You can go on eBay and there's a whole...
From B&M and
yeah, but I mean...
all of the pound shops similar to this, all different styles. That...
No, what they're talking about is so they can do their own set LEDs in certain places, so they're looking for a little kit.
Like the ones that Corbin and Will ordered, them little gold strips.
No, not like those. Yeah, they're looking for like the wires, the LEDs, and a battery pack and some controllers.
I still keep an eye out because all the kids' toys and things that have things
yeah.
like that in your B&Ms.
Everyone's screaming Maplins at me, yes, but yeah, you can get sort of kits there. Also, eBay, you can get terrain LED kits on and LED kits, so I'd go for those. That's the best sort of lighting. There's smart light panels and stuff like that. I want to have a play around with a load of those things. I have a plan for a build, but it's too expensive and I don't have a buyer for it. Yeah, so it's on hold at the minute. But yeah. Right, question 12 of 12. Bruce on Facebook. Do you know if Dial Filler will work with Woodland Scenics rock moulds? No, it won't. Well, you can water it down, you can pour it in. People have had good results, but you can buy on eBay, a kilo of Cristacal Alpha or Cristacal R. Yeah. That's brilliant. Yeah. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than trying to use Dial Filler. Dial Filler's great. Yeah, Dan's saying on the LED question, battery-powered Christmas lights. Very much so. Our tree is up in that corner there. Willow decorated it. So we are all Christmassy here. But yeah, you can use filler in rock moulds. You can use Daz clay in rock moulds. But use plaster of Paris or use Cristacal. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot cheaper. You'll get far better results. Okay, I'll be specific, accurate. It's $430, which I got on sale for $370. Yeah, that's more like what I was expecting for a 4K big monitor. Right, and that is all my questions. Huzzah! Now, I will do a shout out. Yeah, I highly recommend anyone who wants more Mel, and if you want a little bit more Mel, yeah, then I highly recommend you jump over to Twitch and you sign up. I'm probably going to have a little bit of a break, and I may even do a bit of streaming after this. So, yeah, you might see me driving around in my little tanky in about 15 minutes over on Twitch. Yeah, so if you fancy it, if you're up for that, head on over to Twitch. Once again, there are videos out this week. I've got a couple I've almost finished. I don't know which one's coming first, so you'll have to see on Tuesday. Keep an eye out for... No, the theme week's going to be starting around about Christmas time because I'm filming that this week. So, I don't think there's much more I need to tell you. Listen, guys, I'd like to thank you for the support this Watch Call It show. And as always, I also look forward to seeing you Watch Call It next Sunday, 9 o'clock UK time for the Sunday Nighter. And in the meantime, cracking show, guys. Thank you.